I mean, what I found just on the court, having coached for hundreds of thousands of hours, is that men generally feel like the status quo is okay, and women generally feel like the status quo is not okay. But by the time we hit our 50s and our kids seem stable or are out of the house, we're finally ready to do something about it.
Hello, you are listening to the Late Bloomer Living podcast. I'm Yvonne Marchese, your host, and I'm so happy you're here. I created this podcast to give you inspiration and let you know you're not alone in feeling stuck in midlife. I also invite you to join the Age Agitators Club for women, where we come together monthly to hatch our plans for making waves as we age. Being part of this community for women will remind you on a regular basis that you're not too old, and it's never too late to do that thing you've been thinking about. You can find more information at latebloomerliving.com/community, and I hope to see you there. Hello, my friend. Oh, this is going to be good today. If you have ever found yourself wondering if love after 50 is still possible, or if you're in a long-term relationship and want to keep things feeling fresh, then you are in the right place today. I am talking with Laurie Gerber. She's a life coach who's spent years helping women create the love lives that they actually want, focusing on helping women over 50 find and maintain healthy love. Yes, we're going to be talking about dating and relationships today. You know, we tend to fall into some of the same old patterns, don't we, of disappointment, especially as we get older and we're just stuck in our ways. Laurie is an expert in helping guide women through that. She has been everywhere: the Today Show, Dr. Phil, MTV, A&E, you name it. She has also in the past been the go-to love expert for dating sites like Match, Zoosk, and JDate. And her TEDx talk, The Secret Free Diet, is all about the power of truth-telling in relationships. Can't wait to talk about that. And in this episode, we're going to be diving into dating over 50 and breaking those patterns that don't serve us. And how do we keep love strong in those long-term relationships? So if you're single and wondering how to put yourself out there, or you're in a relationship and you want to keep it thriving, you're going to love this conversation. So let's get into it. Without further ado, here's Laurie Gerber. Laurie, thank you so much for being with me today.
Great to be here. That was a lovely intro.
Oh my goodness. I'm so excited to talk to you today. And I want to thank our friend Dana Hilmer for introducing us. So a little shout out to Dana. She's awesome.
Yay.
Yeah. So my goodness, you know, one of the things that you and I first talked about when we had a conversation before we hit the record button today was that you prefer and enjoy coaching women over 50 as opposed to women, let's say, in their 30s.
Yes.
Can we start there? Can we start there? I want to know why.
Yes. So I've been in the coaching business for over 20 years now. So I have coached people of all ages, genders, backgrounds. I love coaching people. But as I get older, I want to do only what I most love. And what I most love is working with women over 50, because my sense of things is that they are finally looking to actually take care of themselves. Most of the women who come to me have raised children, have had careers, have worked their little tushies off serving other people, taking care of other people, oftentimes marrying someone with whom they felt they would make a good family, and then ultimately growing apart emotionally, physically, or discovering it really never was a match, honestly. And so they come to me in menopause, post-menopause, kids either almost out of the house or out of the house, careers in some way sort of settled or behind them. And suddenly it's like, oh, what about me? I actually haven't thought about me since my 20s. What do I really want? So I love that moment. I love that moment so much. And I also think menopause just throws everything into question. It just makes you go, what? Like, take care of me?
Like literally biologically throws you into that, right?
You have to deal with your kids don't need you anymore. You have to deal with your sex life. You have to deal with your energy level. You have to deal with your sleep. You have to deal with all this stuff. So I just love that nature is helping me along with pushing people to get help, to get help
Yes.
to
Oh
take
my
that
gosh,
time.
I love that view of menopause because
Yeah.
it really can be a gift. It doesn't seem
Uh, hun-
like it when you're in the
Oh,
middle of a hot flash.
I'm in the gift camp, even in the middle of a hot flash, because I think hot flashes are freaking hilarious. It still cracks me up. I still am like, oh, really? Like the furnace is inside of me? That's hilarious to me. Like God is a joker.
You know what I
What is
noticed
up with
too
that?
about my hot flashes, Lori? Not to get completely off on menopause, but I will say that when I was before I started hormone replacement therapy and that really helped them, I would could very clearly connect my hot flashes with my stressful thoughts.
Oh my gosh, that's what I love
I
about menopause and all of the symptoms of
it was like
menopause.
shining a spotlight on, oh,
100%.
Yvonne, what are you thinking?
I
Oh,
really
isn't that
do.
interesting?
I was kidding about God being a joker, but I do think it is a gift. I do think it is a gift to cause that transition from being focused on everyone else to being focused on what you need from the inside out. So, and I also think hot flashes are wonderful to bond about, right? Like it's just something I have in common with all of my age mates, and it's funny and it's silly, and I
Have you
just
seen the video of the woman with the steam coming off of her head in the stadium? I'm just like, oh, girl, I feel
my
you.
algorithm is all menopause. That's all I see. Okay. But I just want to distinguish the pleasure of working with 50 something year old women who are finally paying attention to themselves and their needs and finally don't have to settle for something they don't want because I teach this method. It's the Handel method called the three H's, the head, the heart, and the hoo-ha, which means your brain, your head, your logical part of you has to like the match. Your heart has to be happy with how it feels with this person, and your hoo-ha has to be turned on. And this goes for if you're in a relationship or you're dating or considering dating. And so, unfortunately, what I found with my 30 something clients, and I still find when 30 something clients come to me, is they are eager to sell out on one or more of those H's and not go for the whole package and not believe in the whole package because of the biological clock thing. And I
Mm.
no longer have to service that.
And
And
do you think so? I'm going to ask you, as somebody who has had a lot of experience coaching women, that there's statistically a lot of women initiate divorces later in life, right?
of course, yes, I believe I've seen that statistic. I believe my algorithm also likes to show me that.
Yeah, yeah. And so do you think, I mean, I'm listening to what you've talked about so far, and I see a direct correlation there
Yes.
of,
And I mean, what I found just on the court, having coached for hundreds of thousands of hours, is that men generally feel like the status quo is okay, and women generally feel like the status quo is not okay. But by the time we hit our 50s and our kids seem stable or are out of the house, we're finally ready to do something about it.
yeah. Ooh, where do we start? Should we start with the person? Okay, so I want to make sure that we're covering a couple of bases here. The I, for instance, am a person who has been married now for, oh gosh, we got married in 2002. Terrible at the math. So 23 years. Um, I have a I'm blessed. This is my second marriage. I got a good second chance. It is a beautiful thing. Let me just say that right now. So if my husband's listening, honey, I'm not talking about divorcing you. Um, that said, how like then we've got the person that may be listening and has come out of a recent divorce or divorced some time ago, or maybe even never married.
Right.
So where do you want to start? I'm going
So
to
the
throw
first,
them all out at you.
I'll give you what to do for anyone in any of those situations, which is the first thing you need to do is look at your relationship history from the perspective of head, heart, and hoo-ha. You need to look at it that way and you need to write it down. So all my clients have to write this down, a relationship history. So you take every person you've ever been serious about and you rate them. How logical was it? How connected? How did it feel? And how was the chemistry?
I'm
Scale of 1
laughing.
to 10. What are you thinking of right now that's making you laugh?
I'm thinking of a particular boyfriend that was probably all about the hoo-ha.
I mean, generally when people say they like someone, they mean hoo-ha. They're not
Hmm.
looking at head and heart. And then since we get so burned when we focus on hoo-ha, sometimes we pendulum swing. This was my habit. I would pendulum swing from all hoo-ha to all head and go super logical, but no attraction. So then I would end
Hmm.
up going back and forth, getting hurt, hurting, getting hurt, hurting, and never even considering that it was me who had the bad theory. I couldn't have all three. I wasn't, it was like I was shopping for scuba gear at Victoria's Secret. Like I wasn't going to find scuba gear, right? Like I wasn't even looking. So that's the first thing. And again, that goes for if you're in a relationship or not. How's it going? How's the head? How's the heart? How's the hoo-ha? Do
Let me
you
ask you
agree?
something. Okay, so something's coming up for me. I get like the head. Yeah, but maybe I do get I was just gonna say I get the hoo-ha, I get the head. Like
Right,
you're looking at things on paper, right? There's always those relationships that look like they should be just right because that all looks right to the world.
right,
And then there's the heart relationship. I tend to lean in mostly into relationships heart led.
right.
And so that's how, gosh, how
You
do you
want me to
get it
tell you the pit?
all?
Do you want me to tell you the pitfall of that? So I mean,
Yes, please.
I have clients that lean in on one or the other, and I'm trying to always get my clients to care about all three at the same time, right? It's like
Yeah.
juggling. I know it's hard, but what happens when you care too much about heart is you sell out on head usually.
Hmm.
So you're in love. You feel cared for, you feel seen, you feel known, you feel adored, but you do not have goals that intersect well. You do not want to live in the same place. You don't like their dogs. You don't share their worldview. You
That
don't,
was my first marriage. You're nailing it right there.
right?
Yeah.
And it's so, and I mean, I'm coaching someone right now. It's like they don't want the same thing from community. They don't want the same thing from travel. They don't have a socioeconomic compatibility. Um, they don't want to raise children. Like they have a different family idea, but they're in love. The hoo-ha's great and the heart is great. And
Yeah.
they're healing part of each other by loving each other, but it is not a long-term match.
Yeah.
So that, and I think it's obvious what happens if you focus too much on hoo-ha. You end up, it just isn't practical and you get hurt or hurt. If you focus too much on head, call it a friendship. It's not your lover, right? It's not a partner. And
Hmm.
if you focus on too much on heart, you sell out on having all your dreams and all their dreams, right? In a good match, your dreams and their dreams intersect and help each other. They don't mitigate or retard the other person's dream.
Hey, we're going to take a quick break here so I can tell you about an awesome resource that I think you're going to love. Here's the thing. We are always works in progress. Do you find yourself wondering, what do I want to be when I grow up? If so, then I think you're going to want to subscribe to We're All Getting Older, which is a weekly newsletter written by Lou Blazer that's all about continuing to grow and get better in the second half of our lives. We're All Getting Older is a sponsor for this podcast, and I'll tell you, I get so much benefit from reading Lou's newsletter every week, and I think you will too. She writes the newsletter for midlifers who believe in getting better as we get older and making the most of life's second half. So if you want to subscribe to that, it is on Substack, and you can easily find a link to subscribe at loublazer.com. That's loublaser.com. And now back to our regularly scheduled programming. Let's talk about let's go from the point of view of somebody who is now in their 50s, on the market, we'll call it, dating. And how do they balance that out when they're looking at they've gone out on a date and they're how do you coach people
What do you do?
to
Okay,
get clear?
so there's a lot of assignments. So the Handel method was developed at MIT and Stanford. It is a very nerdy method.
I
It has
love nerdy
tools, it has
stuff.
formulas, it has strategies, it has spreadsheets. I love spreadsheets. I really almost called my brand Nerd Love because I'm so nerdy and I love a spreadsheet. So the first spreadsheet is the relationship history where you analyze who broke up with who, was there cheating, was there lying, what were the three H's? You're looking at your patterns. Most people only have one or two. And most people think they know their patterns, but they don't till they write it out. So first you have to write that out. So you're like, okay, I see what I'm doing. So I was like, oh, I see what I'm doing. I'm going all hoo-ha, then I'm going all head. I don't even believe in all three. Boom, light bulb. And I remember when I saw that pattern, I for myself decided not doing that again. I'm not dating anyone ever again unless they have all three. And if I find all three, I'm staying. Right.
Can I
Boom.
tell you something? I'm already resistant to the idea. I'm not a spreadsheet lover. And I am so heart-led that I'm listening to like putting somebody in a spreadsheet and going,
I
oh.
understand. This is not for everyone. It really isn't. And some people are even nerdier than me and they show the spreadsheet to their date and they make their date do a spreadsheet. So some people go even further than I do. I
Yeah.
like a spreadsheet or a chart or whatever, notes. You do it how you want
Yeah.
for accountability and for bringing the subconscious conscious because
Yeah.
all of this is going on in the subconscious. I
Mm-hmm.
know that was true for me. That's true for my clients. They don't know their patterns. They're not aware of their inner dialogue. They're not aware of what they're saying to themselves. So we put it in writing so that we can see
Love
it.
it. Yes, I see the value of that 100%. What do they say? We've got 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, and I think 90% of them are negative, and
85%.
80% of them are on repeat.
Exactly. I quote that all the time. Exactly. And if you don't know what you're swimming in, good luck.
Yeah.
So then we make another chart of your three H criteria.
Okay.
And this is a whole odyssey of, oh, you think you want tall? Trust me, that's not what you want. Oh, you think you want that religion? Trust me, that's not you think you want what you think successful is? No. Money, hair color, eye color. Come on. Okay, so I think you'll like this, which is that once we get into the three H's, the heart gets to speak as loud as everything else. Because, of course, when you ask someone what they want, they go right to their hoo ha criteria. That's easy: tall, dark, handsome.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, we're so cliche. Poor men. Or we go to our head criteria, like, wants a long-term relationship, lives near me, right? And so we don't ask ourselves how we want to feel, which is probably the most important. And if that's in place, you could be flexible on the other two, but not too flexible. And the problem is people get too flexible on the other two when they have the heart engaged. So we create the criteria, 5 or 10 criteria in each, but the exercise of figuring out your criteria is in and of itself very revolutionary. And again, this applies to people who are dating, but also in a relationship. If you're complaining about your relationship, I promise you, you don't know what you really want. You keep saying, I want more time with you. Are you sure? Are you sure it's not the quality of time? Are you sure it's not that you're just unresolved about when he used to travel? Are you sure? Are you sure you know what you really want? Because
Mm.
if you do know what you really want, you're then going to have to test it to see if it then makes you happy because we don't really know what we want. I thought I wanted blonde hair and blue eyed. Where did I get that from? That was literally from, do you remember the pirate movie from like 1980? Like it was Brooke Shields and some blonde hair and
Oh,
blue
oh
eyed.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Remember that
yeah,
movie?
yeah.
No, is
Yes.
that the movie? Or maybe the Blue Lagoon. I don't
The
remember.
Blue
Anyway,
Lagoon, I think that's
the
the
Blue
one.
Lagoon was that it? Okay. So yeah, I might be mixing up movies. It was a really long time ago when I imprinted what I thought was cute,
Yeah.
and Ricky Schroeder. It was blonde hair and blue eyes.
Yeah.
Come on,
I
come on.
started off with the blonde hair and blue eyes, like I'm gonna go the Star Wars. There's my nerdiness.
Right,
Star
right.
Wars first movie, I was all about Luke. Then Empire Strikes Back came out, and I was like, oh, Han Solo.
Yeah. I mean, we get imprinted and we don't go back to question that that's God talking. No, that was the media talking, and we were impressionable at that age. And we really have to reflect on what is important. And then when we get that list, then we are now vetting according to that list, each potential date. Or if you're in a relationship, you're going to start to give language to what it is you really want with your partner. And good news, it's usually something that's way more easy to get than what you thought you wanted.
How so?
Because feeling safe in someone's arms is way easier to get than has to be 6'3" or more,
Mm,
or has to be at X level of fitness, or having a confident partner is way easier to get than an MBA at an Ivy League school. Because
yeah.
we think we know the route to the destination. We don't. We don't. There are infinite routes to any destination. You can see that the GPS can see there are infinite routes to any destination. We can only see the street in front of us. So we're like, oh, we'll have to take Third Avenue. That's the only way to get me what I want. It's so not.
Yeah.
Like blonde, blue-eyed is the only way to be turned on, or tall, or
Now, can I tell you, I was dating somebody else when I met my husband. Let me just put that out in the world. And I was trying to get him to go away. And I told him, you're not even my type. He'll never let me live that down.
types change all the time. And this is
Isn't
one of
that
my
terrible?
favorite things to tell people. I interview people all the time. Types, you might end up with your type, but it's like you might have the baby on the due date.
Right.
Don't bet on it. Like that would be
Gosh.
dumb, right? Like it just, we're superstitious and we think we know the route because it makes us feel in control. But the beauty is we don't know the route. There are infinite routes. What we should be focused on is feeling the feeling of the wish fulfilled, like actually feeling what it feels like to be happy so that the route can work itself out towards that. That's actually our spiritual power. What we can do is imagine it. Imagine how we want to feel,
So
not,
is the first
oh,
step believing that all three are possible
yes.
and visualizing what that feels like, literally like
Not even visualizing, feelizing.
feel, oh, I
I call
like
it
it.
I call it a feelization, not a visualization.
Uh-huh, uh-huh, because
Feelization.
the feeling is very important. Talk about that for a minute, if you don't
Okay.
mind.
Well, I mean, now we're getting advanced, but to your point, if there's the heart, the head, and the body, right? The heart is the feeling, the head is the plan. What am I going to do about it? How am I going to think about it? And the body is actually getting on the dating sites or having a hard conversation with your partner. We really do skip the feeling and fixing the mindset. We go right to the doing. And that's, I often get clients that are just, I'm exhausted by the dating sites. I hate the dating sites. There's nobody good in my city, right? Like, I mean, so disillusioned, disappointed, disempowered because they go right into the doing and they don't go, how do I want to feel? Can I get myself to feel that without the result, right? Can I acclimate my consciousness to what I want? That is what we actually need to
And
do.
does that start with like the scroll of a dating site and like, okay, so I don't know how dating sites work. It's been forever. So, but I'm imagining there's people that are put in front of you that are supposedly a decent match, and that you swipe and you swipe and you swipe until you see somebody that maybe the hoo-ha has
I
like a
would
little,
not, that is how people do it. But what I would do is do your relationship history, see your patterns,
right?
go, okay, what did I like? What were the good things about all these humans? Now let me take a guess at my 3H chart from my history, from what I've experienced, from what I see out there, from what I see in other people. Don't get on the dating sites yet, God forbid. I keep my people off the dating sites until they're actually ready because
Good. Okay.
the most potent moment is when you first get on. So if you're not ready, you waste it and you get disappointed. So I would do that first. Then, as you're dating, you tweak your 3H's from what you learn in the field because it's not going to be perfect right out of the gate, but you can do a lot of thinking before you actually get to the scrolling part. But yeah,
Yeah.
then you're scrolling for you don't make contact with anyone unless what they wrote looks compatible with your head, you like the vibe, and you think they're cute. That
Hmm.
you don't start anything with anybody unless they hit all 3H's at least there. Then you have 1 to 2 weeks to text banter with them to ask some of your head questions. Oh, where do you live? What do you do with your time? Who do you live with? How's the election for you? Whatever,
Hmm.
right? And you rule people out on head basis in that text banter. If
Hmm.
the text banter is fun and going well and no red flags or deal breakers, there could be red flags, but no deal breakers have arisen,
Hmm.
then you will go, if you'd ask me out, I'd say yes.
Hmm.
And then they go, I want to ask you out. And you go, let's get on a video chat first to check if we have chemistry. Actually, I would do that before if you asked me out. I'd say yes. I would do the video chat first. So you're texting, you're bantering, you're having fun, you seem to like each other. Half those people are just doing that to fill their time. They're not serious, they're not looking for a person, they don't even want to see you on a date. So when you go,
Wow.
let's get a video chat to check chemistry, you'll rule those people out who aren't serious. Only somebody who's serious will serious about dating in general, but also serious about you and attracted to you will show up for a video chat with you.
Yeah.
Nobody likes doing this, Yvonne. I mean, I have to twist arms.
It's like pre-qualifying somebody to, like, if you're running a business and you have clients, it's like pre-qualifying them to be a client for you because you only want clients you want to work
But
with.
things that work in business also work in dating. So yeah, so you are, and I some people chicken out of the video chat altogether and they end up on dud dates and they get exhausted and disillusioned, like I said.
Yeah.
And some people will say I want a video chat, but they won't say to check chemistry. And then they'll end up in an hour and a half conversation with someone who's lonely, with whom they have no chemistry. So
Mm.
10-minute video, the language is very important. Now, let's hop on a 10-minute video chat to check chemistry. Now, they know you're serious, but you want to check chemistry, and they should want to check chemistry with you. And we all know people lie on dating sites. They lie about age, they lie about location, they lie about weight, they put old pictures up. So, of course, you need to get on a video chat to see if you think they're cute
Hmm.
and what they really look like and what they've done with themselves, right? So, that's a must for my people. And I'm just going through the steps here. And then if the video chat is great, you're welcome to let it go on for more than 10 minutes if you're just having fun. But then at the end of that, you go, if you like them, you say, if you ask me out, I'd say yes.
Hmm.
Assuming none of your three H's has turned red. We color code green, yes, red, no, yellow, don't know yet.
Hmm.
And if something turns red, that's a deal breaker for you. You have to abort the missions. And then we have canned responses for that. And it's all very formulaic and paint by numbers. And
Wow.
we have group coaching, so everybody's always comparing notes. It's very cute, to
Wow.
telling the other women what's happening and weighing in on each other's
Oh, so you
adventure.
have like group coaching. You've got people in together in the mix. They can commiserate
All women
and
over 50. It's not like
oh,
a mix.
that's
It's all just
fantastic.
this group. Yeah, it's fun.
Wow. Wow. And when you put yourself eventually on a dating site and you've done this three H's work, does does that then impact the way you write your bio
Yeah.
for the dating site? And then that is going to affect maybe the algorithm of the dating
Oh,
site?
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone who works with me, their profile gets a once over, a serious once over, to
Yeah.
make sure that it, number one, accurately reflects them. You'd be
Hmm.
amazed by how people misrepresent themselves unknowingly. Like they try to sound more fun
Yeah.
than
We
they
lie
are.
to ourselves all the time, right?
So weird. Okay,
Yeah.
yes. So it accurately represents you and it has something interesting going on, a hook or two. So that because I can talk about how hard dating is for women, but dating is also very hard for men.
Oh, I
They
bet.
are not as facile as we are. They are not as emotionally intelligent, generally speaking. They don't like rejection. Their egos are fragile. So if you can help them have an easy way to start a conversation with you by saying, ask me about my trip to, or let me ask me about the funniest thing my dog did, or ask me about blah blah. Or I mean, there's a million ways to do it, but that is the most simple call to action, to use the business terms. It helps. It just helps extraordinarily. So there's a lot of hacks to how to work your profile to actually get not just interest, but the right kind of interest and to help people approach you.
Love this whole, wow, kind of blowing my mind.
And can I
Fantastic.
just,
Yes.
for the people who are coupled up, I always want to throw them something too. Be that works in a relationship too.
Ooh,
Like,
tell me how,
ask
because
me
I was
about,
literally just about to say, okay,
right?
let's
Yeah.
change gears and talk about the relationship and what do we do when we feel like we're floundering or I don't know. We've been married for 23 years and mostly we're like going along, going along, going along. Things are good. And then we'll have a flashpoint of something that is like, oh my gosh, we're still dealing with this. Are you kidding me? This
Well,
isn't done?
that's never gonna end.
Oh, really?
I'll tell you that. I
Dang.
don't know. I'm only in like 30 years. So, maybe. But we still fight about the same things as we fought about always. And that's because we all come with our lineage and our traits
Hmm.
and those things we are literally we found each other to work through that stuff. So I don't I no longer interpret that as bad, right? So, and just like menopause, right? I've reframed that too. Oh, that's what we're here to work on. Yeah. I'm here
Ah,
to work
yeah.
on my selfishness and meanness, and he's here to work on his courage and speaking his mind. And so, we have friction over that occasionally. But just going back one topic, I would say we still don't know how to ask and answer questions well in relationships. It's just like we think we know what we want in the 3H church. We think we're asking a question about this, but we're really asking it about something else. Like we are really tricky humans. So, one of the I teach my clients, I work with couples. It's not my favorite thing to do, but I often work with couples. And there are 20 or 30 methodologies, principles, and exercises I do with them. But I think one of the ones that I can just like give you very easily and that is very usable as of today is I feel I need. I feel I need. Because what I have learned from watching people complain, let's just call it women complain to their husbands or their partners for years, and it's not effective. They are not complaining effectively because the complaint comes out sounding like a criticism, a judgment, a nag. It doesn't
Right.
come out in the framework of I feel I need, or I feel I desire, or I feel I love. So when I go, you never listen to me, you always are distracted on your phone. Why isn't why aren't you on time to our date? You know, all of that sounds like criticism, judgment, and nagging. But if I
Mm-hmm.
go, honey, I am feeling pretty vulnerable, a little disconnected. I'm just struggling in my own life right now and feeling tired, and I really need some attention. Would you be willing to give me a foot rub tonight and just listen to my day?
Mm-hmm.
That would make me so happy. Right? Who can resist that? Who? Even your kid might do that for you if you say it that way. You understand? Because you've made yourself vulnerable
Yeah.
by saying how you feel and making a request, not a demand, not a judgment, not a nag. And this is so hard for people because we don't know how we feel and we don't know what we need, which is why
Yeah.
all my coaching goes back to actual introspection about yourself. What do you feel? What do you need? What do you want to feel? Because we're just so busy distracting ourselves and blaming other people for our experience of life versus just going, what do I feel and what do I need? I'm going
Mm.
through a very hard time right now. My dad is on his last chapter, so I'm going through a very hard time and I am
I'm
having to
sorry.
practice this with my husband daily so I don't kill him because he's there. He's there while I'm having a hard time. And
Yeah, yeah. And he's your safe place, and he's the one
right.
that gets all the dumping, right?
And so
Yeah.
what I've learned, and so I've been with him for 30 years, okay? But just today, I learned that I can do this thing, which I want to tell all the women. Like the men want to do things for you. They want to, but they do not respond to judgment, criticism, and nagging. But today I sent just an email to my husband. I said, I'm still struggling. I'm not feeling like I can get on top of things. Would you be willing to do these things for me? And I just literally made a list. Like, can you make a play date for this weekend? Can you finish the shopping order? Can you help me find my fleece that I can't find that I'm going nuts? Can you order me a new printer? Can you like I just made a list. And he said yes. And I'm just like, I can breathe again, right? In
Yeah.
my own life. And I feel
And
so
that's not telling him I feel like I've got all this stuff on me that I do all the things and you don't do these things and right, because I think a lot of times for women that's how we feel, because a lot of times that may be the reality, but it's not going to be effective when you tell him that. And men, I mean, not just men, we all need to be appreciated. Like
yeah,
that's the other thing. I really have I try to let my husband know how much I appreciate what he does do on a
yeah.
regular
That's
basis.
I mean that it does work for all genders, but it is
I
a
feel
very important
I
piece of the puzzle. I
need.
feel
I
or I
feel I
desire,
need.
even better than I need is I'd love it if you would, or
I'd love it if you
would be
would.
willing to, right? It's a ask, it's a request. He doesn't
Yeah.
have to say yes. Honestly, like even if he said no, I still feel better having wrote down what I need. And
Yeah.
maybe I can ask someone else, right? Like it's just be honest with yourself. Don't
Yeah.
lie to yourself that you can't figure it out. Take a minute, breathe, sit with yourself, journal, figure it out. And then so you don't have to kill anybody that you love or your date if you're dating.
Oh my goodness. This has been amazing. Now you have a webinar, right? That you do, the 3 secrets to finding and maintaining healthy love without repeated disappointments. Is that something you're doing
Yeah,
these days?
I love this webinar. I'm so proud of it. I worked so hard on it. I did it and redid it and redid it to really so if what you're hearing is interesting to you, if you're like, "Oh, I wonder what my 3 H's are. I wonder what's stopping me from getting out into dating or being effective and successful and happy dating." This webinar is for you. It will answer all of that. You will literally get to make a 3H chart during the webinar because I'm hand holding you through that. You will learn the 3 date strategy, which is my way of making sure you don't spend too long with the wrong person,
A
which is the number.
3 date strategy. Ooh, that sounds juicy. Okay.
I love my webinar and I think it is jam. It's only an hour and it's jam packed with content. If you like this, that will
Yeah. I love how manageable your what you're suggesting is, and how they just feel like little tweaks or little things, like it's actionable. Everything that you've talked about is something that you can do, and it's also reflective, which I like. I like a balance of the
you
the reflection and the okay, try this.
you could pitch me anytime. That was a beautiful summary. Yes, exactly. It's a formula and a strategy and a tool set that I'm giving.
Hmm.
It's not one size fits all, but it is the formula that has worked over and over and over again with the clients. And people
Yeah.
come back to me all the time and go, I don't know where I'd be without the 3 H's. I don't know where I'd be without the 3 date strategy. I don't know where I'd be without the video chat. I don't know, just we've been studying this for 20 years and testing it on real people. So it's pretty tried and true.
That is fantastic. Well, how can people find you if they want to get in touch with you and if they want to try out this webinar or anything like that?
LaurieGerber.com. LaurieGerber.com. If you put in /webinar, you'll get right to the webinar, but you can find it on the site along with a little pop-up if you want to reach out to me directly, be on the mailing list. That's really all there for you.
Thank you so much. I love that this conversation had a little something for everybody with the dating and the long-term relationships, because ah, it's all so tricky. This humaning thing that we have to do, it's
Oh
all
my
very
God,
tricky, isn't
right?
it?
I know it's so weird how advanced we seem and yet how childlike and animalistic some aspects of being human still are. It
Yeah.
really is. Like we look so nice, but we got issues.
Every last one of us.
Truly, truly. It's what brings us together, but it's also what breaks us apart.
Yeah. Well, Lori, thank you so much for everything that you shared with us today. I really appreciate all the value you brought to this and how generously you shared what you know. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Well, there you have it. Thanks so much for listening today. I hope this conversation with Laurie Gerber gave you a fresh perspective on what's possible in love, whether you're dating again or deep into a long-term relationship. Remember, it's never too late to ask for what you want, tell the truth about how you feel, and to believe that you can have love that feels good in your head, your heart, and your body. If what we talked about today resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it with a friend who could use a little encouragement in the love department. And if you're curious about Laurie's work or want to explore her 3H's webinar, check out the link in the show notes. You can get that at latebloomerliving.com/podcast and look for episode 228. Until next time, stay curious, stay open, and bloom like you mean it.